Fun. We were lucky enough to win the die roll, so let's do this. Our hand is reasonably strong. Not the most strong, but if our Gataxian Probe does end up giving us more Moxen, I think we're in a really good spot to win this game. Definitely got to keep from our part. So let's take a look at what our opponent is doing and hopefully rip some Moxen off the top. Our opponent is on blue-red Delver. Oh, so maybe we lost to him the other night. This is an incredibly hard matchup for PO. It's one of the worst. Blue-red Delver is not a super common deck anymore, but for a while it was. He's got a pretty strong hand. Not a super fast hand, but a reasonably strong one. Our Demonic Tutor. We would really like... We really need some more artifact mana. It's a little awkward. I'd like to get a Mana Crypt. I can't... I'd like a Sapphire or a Mana Crypt, probably. I don't want to get a Soul Ring or a Mana Vault because he has Mental Misstep in hand. I'd like to get something like a Tinker, but we can't guarantee that our Tinker is going to have an artifact and the mana to play it next turn. If we could do that, I think a Tinker would be a really easy take here. It's possible it actually just should be the take here, because we know he doesn't currently have a Force of Will in hand, or a Dak Baden. But it's a very risky line. It's a very risky line that I'm not really super willing to use right now. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to take a Sapphire, and I will probably try to repeal my Sapphire at the end of his turn and see if he mental missteps it. I guess I'll probably do it in response to his... I don't know. It's super loose. I think it's super loose. This is a tough spot to be, though. I think a Sapphire is correct, though. He has a Probe, so he's going to see that the jig is up. But we will probably repeal in response to the Probe. So here's Flooded Strand. Likely... Is he going to not probe? He might not probe. He might hold the Probe for his Pyromancer. That's interesting. I'm going to let the Delver resolve, though. It's a little awkward to let the Delver resolve, but I think that the force protecting our PO is much more important. So, alternatively, we can not cycle our repeal, and on our turn, we can bounce back this Delver to his hand, which I think might actually be a better line. It plays around the Mental Misstep that's currently in his hand. I think we're going to go with that. Preordain's a little annoying. He'll probably counter our Preordain, but I think it's reasonable to lead with Preordain and see if we can get it through. We were able to get it through. That's really nice. We don't really need another Force of Will, and unfortunately our Voltaic Key is much less likely to resolve. I'd rather try to find more Moxen so that our PO is more effective. So I'm going to bottom both of these. That's the actual worst draw in our deck, and quite unfortunate. We did draw another Moxen though, which is pretty good. Pretty good. Ray, not like this, Ray. Oh, don't say these things. If we Hurkyl's Recall, we only make 1 mana, and we need to, well, we get to go up to 3 mana, but we needed to go up to 4 mana. So we're just going to pass back, and the next turn we're going to try to resolve a PO, and see how that goes. See if he draws a land for turn. He's had 2 draw steps that we don't know about. A land for turn's a little rough here, because he will be able to Gush, which will help him draw into a Force. But as of now, we don't think he has a Force of Will, and we do have Force of Will backup, so we're in a good spot. It seems like he doesn't have a land, because if he did, he would probably hold the Probe for the Pyromancer. We have to make sure while we're comboing off that we think about... Ooh, Brainstorm's a little awful. Yeah, I mean, we're just never beating a waste. That's just kind of how this matchup is, man. It's really rough. It's not a good matchup. It's one of the least favorite matchups for PO in Vintage, but it's not a common deck, so you can't really let it go to your head too much. I guess that's not really the turn of phrase, get to you too much. But worth noting, we do need to make sure that we play around Mental Misstep while comboing. And currently we only have 3 artifacts in play, so our combo is definitely not close to deterministic. The library here doesn't get him any new cards that he knows about, but it does put him up to 8 cards. So if in his top 5 or 6 cards this game there was 2 forces, we will get our PO countered here. Unfortunately, we don't have a white source, or Mentor would be a really easy slam dunk here, but we don't have it, so we have to just roll with PO. So let's see if he drew a Force of Will. He did not. So we hit the white source, which is really good. We have to see how we want to sequence this. If we play the white source and cast Mentor, we have only 1 blue source. But we do have Hercles, in which we can Hercle back our set of rubies and make a very large board. That's an interesting one. We do have to play around the misstep, so we can't assume this preordain will resolve. We have a Snapcaster for appeal on the next turn. So it's likely we can use the Hercles this turn to make a large army of monks. And then on the next turn, Snap PO is definitely an option. Or Snap Demonic for a Time Walk. I like where we're at here. I think that's where we're going to go with this line. So Monastery Mentor. I think I'm going to hold PO in my hand and use it as Force of Will fodder. Alright, we got the concession. That's fairly lucky. I think he drew very poorly. But I will definitely take a stolen game 1 off of this deck. We have a very high chance of losing the next 2 games. So we do want our push. This is a little weird because we want all of... We don't have enough mana to snap PO now. Oh, you're saying not cast Mentor and snap PO? I think that's a little greedy. I guess it's fine. I think Mentor line is better. No, you might be right. There's really no downside to snap POing there. Yeah, you're right. There's no downside to snap POing. I think I just missed it for some reason. That's true. I saw Mentor and I saw a very clear avenue. We would have to hit both we would have to hit either a Mox Opal or a Pearl in order to play Mentor. Yeah, no, it could backfire. You could definitely backfire PO there, but you have a 4 card PO with a Mentor with a Snapcaster again. So I think it's pretty reasonable to go for a full combo there. I saw a Mentor and I thought it was a pretty reasonable line to end the game, so I kind of took it. I think we want to board out this Hercules, and I think we want to board in a Force of Will. I like a lot of the cards in our board, but I think we're going to leave them for wish targets. I don't want a Vampiric in my deck. I would rather have the Dig Through Time in the main. I don't like Tinker Blightsteel, so I'm going to bring in the Flusterstorm, and I think I'm going to bring in the I don't know how much we want to play around Cunning Wish. I'm not really sure how much I want to play around Cunning Wish. I think I'm going to bring in the PO and then use Cunning Wish as mostly value. think I'm gonna roll with this. I'm not sure this is 100% correct. It's my first time playing with Cunning Wish, so don't know how good it is, and don't know which cards I'm supposed to keep in my board and which I'm not. Who is Dogboner87? Out of curiosity, do I know who you are? This hand's fine. This hand's very weak to mental misstep, though. This hand's really weak to No Rod as well, which is a reason to maybe keep one Hercules in the main. Alright. I hate Probe. Probe is so lame. Ugh. Such an unreasonable card. Okay. It's a No Rod. Alright. I don't really want this Ancestral to get mental misstepped. I don't know what Dismantling Blow is, I don't believe. Chill, my dude. Chill. Both of these are... You can ask for, like, perfect play, or you can ask for a stream. You don't get both. That's a good draw. Sure, that's perfectly fine. He went bottom bottom and missed land still. So hopefully this library just buries him. He F6, so I'm just playing my Magic the Gathering cards out. So he finally hit his land. Well, we hit Tolarian, so we get to start going off now. We need to play around Flusterstorm. Oh, Snap Ancestral's like a little bit better, actually. Actually, I think it's better to just PO first. Oh, that doesn't play around Flusterstorm, though. It's very likely he has a Flusterstorm or a Mental Misstep. I don't actually mind just using this turn to play out. No, I think I'll end step Snapcaster. I have about 1,000,000 lines that are all kind of reasonable, and I don't really think I'm gonna go take a lot of time to try to figure out what the best one is. I would like to try to eat some of his counter spells and try to get him to tap out. He flipped a mental misstep, so we're gonna do it now. So before that becomes an issue. Unless he fetches away this misstep. Alright, well he fetched away the misstep, so now we're not going to do it now. We currently have just repeal in the main to get rid of the Null Rod. We could alternatively just cast this PO on end step, which I don't hate either. I actually like it a lot, seeing as he has cast no spells. He needs a Pyroblast or a Force of Will to counter this right now. I think it's much more likely he already has a Mental Misstep or a Snapcaster Mage in hand. But we can now Cunning Wish for a Steel Sabotage as well. I would like a Force of Will, but I don't really need a Force of Will. We're probably looking to just set up a Vault Key. That's probably the simple and easiest way to go about this. It might have been better to lead with Demonic before playing our Moxen, so we couldn't get our Demonic Flusterstormed. That was a little bad. I was trying to get as much mana with Academy as I could, but that wasn't actually really necessary. I should have led with Demonic to start. I do want our Demonic to get the key though, so I might go wishing for... I might go wish for the Sabotage. Well, the Sabotage gets missed up as well, so I'd rather wish for an Echoing Truth. In the end, it really doesn't matter. I'd like to do a lot of the plays on his turn, though. I can always pay for a Flusterstorm if I really want to, but I don't really care if this resolves or not. I still have Yawgmoth's Will. It's very likely that if this gets countered, I will just let it go. I will pitch my Flutterstrand at end step, and then draw a card with Library at the start of the next turn, and do a bunch of things on his end step. That makes me kind of rethink it. Like, this is a pretty easy value to pay, so I don't actually mind paying. If I pay, I still have 4 mana left. Yeah, that's perfectly reasonable. I will pay here. Okay, so he's gonna use his 2 counter spells. That's perfectly fine as well. We'll let this resolve, and then we'll probably cast Cunning. We have a lot of options again on what we need, what we can choose. We can't snap. We can snap, we can time vault, we can preordain, we can Cunning Wish. The only problem with that is we get stuck with a bunch of cards in hand, but I think it's pretty reasonable to just cast PO here. I think I'm gonna do it with... I want another blue mana after, I think. So I think I'm going to do it with my Library. I think that's fine. So we have a key and kill in hand, and we drew 2 forces. So this game is over, and we're going to take that 5 up. Very nice. At the end of the day, I have a million lines, but none of them really matter. So yeah. Obviously, we still need to remove the Null Rod, but it's fairly trivial for us to do that at this point. This card doesn't matter. I guess it's fine for me to draw a card first. We're gonna go Cunning Wish, and we're gonna go get our answer to Null Rod. I'm gonna get a 2-mana answer to Null Rod. And then we're gonna take infinite turns. Boom! The trick to Vintage is to take your efficient, well-oiled machine that you want to win Eternal Weekend with and throw that in the garbage. That's bad. You don't want that. What you do want is to rip apart your sideboard, put a bunch of instants in it, and play 3 Cunning Wish. 100% trick to 5-0 is play whatever the heck you want and don't try hard for serious practice. Oh man, we got a good crowd tonight, but probably not gonna play too much more. I have to go back to bed, which is unfortunate, but I do appreciate everyone stopping by to witness the beautiful Cunning Wish Paradoxical Outcome 5-0. If you've never been here before, we stream almost only vintage PO decks, varying ranges of playability. If you check out my YouTube channel, I am actually level 1. It has all the VODs from all time. There's over 1 day of vintage footage on there. So if you want to learn how to play PO, start at the beginning. Check out some of the vintage challenge videos. We record and we stream the entire challenge live, no delay. For every time there's a Saturday open, we try to stream the Vintage Challenge, which is the highest stakes vintage tournament on Magic Online. This weekend, we're going to try to do that as well, as long as I make it home in time. That'll be 1 p.m. Eastern on Saturday is the next probably for sure stream. There might be another weeknight stream later this week. So by all means, if you want to see more vintage, follow Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. Thank you all for coming by. I hope you all have a good day. Thanks, guys.